24 hours after the Knicks beat the Charlotte Hornets, Knicks go up against the Boston Celtics and lose by a score of 114 to 98, and Chris and I are here to break the game down. But, of course, before we get into today's video, we want to remind you that, yes, 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. We need that number to go up, so please stop what you're doing, smash the subscription button, and let's get the Knicks Digest subscription number straight to the moon, baby. Chris, what's up, my guy? How you been?
I've been better. I just watched the Knicks get absolutely smacked around by the Celtics after what was a close game for, I don't know, 85% of it. And
Right.
then we just absolutely lost all of our rhythm. And clearly what was happening is that we were missing RJ Barrett tonight.
Right. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to get into the positives. Let's get into the positives that we took away from tonight's game, and then we could focus on the negatives. So I wanted to hit on a positive that you just said. The way I'm framing it is going to be a little weird. One positive that I took away from the game is that RJ Barrett didn't play, and what I mean by that is they were hanging in there with the Boston Celtics. And yeah, you're right. I don't know what happened towards like the middle of the fourth quarter where all of our momentum just went away. But I'm saying as far as like RJ not even being in the game at all, he didn't play because of a migraine, but we were able to still stick with the Boston Celtics throughout the whole game. That's a positive I'm taking out of the game. RJ is one of the better players that has started off this season, along with Mitchell Robinson. And it's a big piece of the rotation, a big piece of the team. So I think that's definitely a positive to take away from the game. I don't want to make any excuses, of course. You try to win the game, you try to win every game possible, and you play with the players that you have on the court. But RJ not playing and the Knicks playing the way that they played tonight, I think is definitely a positive you could take away from the game.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. The Knicks really did play it well for most of the game, and especially to do that without RJ, who not only has just been the Knicks' most consistent offensive player, he's been one of their best defenders, and is probably the guy who's best suited to guard Jason Tatum. So obviously not having him hurt, and we saw that because Tatum lit up everyone. If you look at Tatum's numbers against RJ, they favor RJ's defense over Tatum's offense. Obviously, I'm not saying that RJ is a better defender than Jason Tatum is an offensive player. What I'm saying is RJ is probably the Knicks' best hope at stopping or at least slowing down the offensive force that is Jason Tatum. Not having him tonight and keeping this game close, I definitely agree, was a good, really good thing. And then also just watching that Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are both putting up 26 and 25 points, showing that they're back to their normal selves as they need to be in order for this team to succeed.
So another positive that I took out from the game, and let me know if you agree with me, is actually Mitchell Robinson. So Mitchell Robinson, for a majority of the game, I feel like he did a really good job with Kristaps. So I feel like Mitchell Robinson, he was just able to stay with him. I feel like he had he put in a little bit extra effort as far as like a pick and pop. Whenever Kristaps would do a pick and pop with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, whoever it was, I feel like Mitchell Robinson was giving that extra effort in order to contest the three. Kristaps, a lot of times he would like pump fake. And Mitchell Robinson trying to block the shot. Kristaps, he just decided to not to take the three. And for the most part, he did a good job. And again, like we said, like somewhere in the middle of the fourth quarter, the Knicks lost the momentum. But for a majority of the game, I think Mitchell Robinson did a really good job against Kristaps, moving his feet, contesting shots, and just being physical with Kristaps. So that's definitely another positive I took away from the game. Is it going to be a little, if they match up in the playoffs, will Mitchell Robinson be able to keep up this defensive intensity? I mean, hopefully, but you're asking a lot of him to, especially pick and pop a Kristaps. Mitchell Robinson is not really used to it. So, I mean, just for tonight, I think that was definitely a positive you could take away from Mitchell Robinson's game.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mitch played against Porzingis a lot better than he did in the first game, which is huge. Obviously, the Knicks lost the first game because of how Porzingis played. They lost to Jason Tatum tonight. They didn't lose to Porzingis, though. Porzingis did put up good numbers. He shot really well from the field at 21 points. But Mitch is still sort of hitting that learning curve of actually going out and guarding stretch bigs instead of having switches or something or having him just stay near the paint. Mitch is becoming more mobile, and this is something that's going to happen, especially against a guy like Porzingis, who just already spends more time outside on the perimeter than almost every other center in the NBA. It's clearly not the best matchup for Mitch, but he looks like he's improving against Porzingis, which is awesome, obviously, aside from just the fact that Mitch is getting better at guarding one of the best stretch bigs in the league. It's also just nice to see Mitchell Robinson play some good defense on Porzingis, since we have some memories of Kristaps Porzingis and hoping that one day he would play with Mitchell Robinson, but obviously that did not happen. As far as this loss goes, it's not exactly the 16-point loss that it looked like, because the Knicks did keep it close for the majority of the game. I don't know. I'm weirdly not too concerned. What are you thinking?
Can we get into the negatives?
Yes.
Now, let's talk about the negatives. And I don't want anybody to label me as a Julius Randle hater, man. I just talk about with what I see on the floor. And Julius Randle being the 1-2 punch, being the 1-2 punch leader of the New York Knicks team, obviously Jalen Brunson being the other. Julius Randle, this is the love-hate relationship that I'm talking about with Julius Randle, man. Like, yes, he was not tentative today. Yes, he was aggressive going to the hole. Yes, he took the shots that were available to him, mixing it up with putting the ball on the floor, taking three-pointers. He finished 7 of 19 from the field, 2 of 8 from three-point. As far as three-point, 2 of 8, obviously not great, but he's taking the shots when they're available to him. But man, I'm just seeing these little instances throughout the game where he just makes everything so much more difficult for himself. Like he had bunnies at the rim, and like the ball would roll around the rim like 3 times, and he just makes everything so much more difficult for himself. And what's the ceiling for this team? What's the potential of this team? Julius Randle, I feel like it's only I think like 10th game of the season. There's still a lot more games to go in this season, but I just have this feeling that like we've seen the best of Julius Randle. What else is there that he can do to elevate the ceiling of this team? And it's just super frustrating, man, because he just makes everything incredibly difficult when it could be so much easier. Now, to his credit, tonight, what I did see a little bit more, he was making the right pass. He was making a couple passes that were like hockey passes that led to the assist, which I really like to see from him. But I just want to see those plays where he's like at the rim, making everything so much more incredibly difficult. I want to see those way down. He's still coming back from the ankle surgery. It looks like he's getting his legs underneath him. He's looking a little bit more spry. He's looking like he's going to the rim a little bit more aggressively, which we like.
I don't love that even when Julius is having great games where it's 25 points and 9 rebounds, that's coming off of a game where he's also shooting 7 for 19, especially 2 for 8 from 3. It would be a lot nicer if when it's like, oh, Julius had a good game, he still was not shooting under 50% from the field. That can get frustrating. And also just something that I thought of is, remember how back when Carmelo Anthony was on the Knicks, the big criticism that people would give Melo is that he would completely slow the offense down and there would be no plays.
Great point.
Basically, Carmelo's my favorite Knick of all time. I love Carmelo Anthony, probably my favorite athlete of all time. But they're not wrong that was a thing. I always argued on the side of this team that Melo had is never good enough for the offense that he's running is probably the next best option. Julius is doing too much of that Carmelo Anthony thing where you completely stall the offense, but he's not Carmelo Anthony. Is he great? Yes, in a lot of ways, Julius Randle is great. But does he have the isolation game of Carmelo Anthony? No, so don't slow down the game. And you're right, he did make some good passing, and that's absolutely true. I would like to see more of that. I think Randle would be better in transition than in this role where he gets the ball, holds it for 4 seconds, then takes 2 dribbles before putting the defender on his back because he doesn't have a deep bag of dribble moves. And then one point I just really wanted to touch on is why is Josh Hart shooting more than Quentin Grimes? I understand Josh Hart played really well, had 16 points and 9 rebounds. Shot 6 for 12 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. I'm not ever going to argue with that from Josh Hart, but I want Quentin Grimes shooting more than Hart. I really do.
No, I could definitely see that. But no, that's a good point that you made as far as Julius Randle being a ball stopper. That's one of the criticisms of his game. But you also mentioned how you want to see Julius Randle in the open court. And in the first half, that's what helped the Knicks, and that's what helped them stay in the game with the Boston Celtics. They were up and down. And in the second half, it seemed like they started to slow the game down, and it just gave Boston momentum, and then next thing you know, the game was kind of over. We were talking about Mitchell Robinson a little bit earlier, and one thing I forgot to mention is I feel like Mitchell Robinson, yes, we know that he's the big man. We know that he doesn't have any offensive move, obviously. He's kind of the garbage man. Get your points off of rebounds, off of pick and roll alley-oops. We get it. But I feel like Mitchell Robinson, like he should be rewarded for the work that he's putting in. I've seen so many times where Mitchell Robinson is like super open and he's like flashing in the middle of the paint. And I feel like Jalen Brunson or Quentin Grimes or Julius Randle, they could like fire the ball in real quick so he could just turn around and do a little layup. Now again, obviously I'm not on the court, so I don't see what they see. But I want to see them actively look for Mitchell Robinson a little bit more because he's putting in a lot of work as far as setting screens, as far as the rebounds. I mean, yeah, he's one of the best offensive bigs in the league. He has more offensive rebounds to begin this season than some NBA teams. So I just want to see him be a little bit more rewarded for the work that he's putting in.
We're never going to know what Mitchell Robinson's offensive game is if the Knicks don't let him play offense. I'm even going to go as far as to say let Mitch shoot a 15-foot jump shot. Let's see what happens. Who knows? Obviously, the free throws make you think he probably can't do it, but you never know in the flow of the game. So I think Mitch should be rewarded at least with low post shots, if nothing else.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching this video. So, yeah, unfortunately, the Knicks lost tonight. But Wednesday, we got another game. I believe we're at Atlanta. We're going to play the Hawks. So, Chris and I, hopefully, we'll be able to hop on for a post-game show. But thanks for watching this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Later, guys.
Peace.